Good day and welcome back to class. Today we want to work on our calculator app, and there are three main things we want to talk about, which is the off button, the more button, and the clear button. So let's get back to work. This is a sketchware. Now there's the off button, the more button, and the clear button. Start with the off button. For the off button, the only block we need is the finish activity, which you get from this component. This is finish activity at the bottom. You can see it. You plug it as it has been plugged, and that's all for the off button. What it does is that it ends the app, and once it ends the app, we know our app is off. Now the next is more button. The more button is what will change this cos, this sine, this tan, and this square root to other functions. For example, we want to have arccos, arcsine, arctan, and cube root. All this we can easily do with the help of the more button. So for the more button, this is how we'll configure our blocks. You can see there are 4 groups of blocks here. Let me separate them so we can take them one by one. This first block, this first if block, is the one that prevents our app from crashing. What it does is that when more block is not set and we click on the more button, when more button is not set, that is empty, and we click on it, automatically sets the value of the more button to 1. So in any case, our app cannot crash as a result of clicking the more button. So, and to set that up, the first thing we need is to create our more button. You know, we've not created it earlier in the last class. The more button is a number variable, so you click the number, click number. When you've clicked number, then you set the name to more button, btn. So because I've saved it as more button, then initially it won't allow me to save it, but in your own case, you add. The moment you press add, you have it displayed here. Now that we have a more button, you bring our control, that's if. We need a if block. You know, this is an if block. Then the operator equal to, we have equal to here. You can see it. Then add your more button. So this is saying that if more button is empty, then set, you still see it here, set more button is a number variable. So you set number, here's the number, set number, you can see it now, set more button to 1. So that's how we configured that. So I'll take this away. Now the next set of block is the block we are going to use for switching. What do I mean by switching is that what this more blocks does is that it changes from the normal display, which contains sine, cos, tan, and square root. It changed to the new set of displays, and that new set of display is going to switch it to arccos, arctan, arcsine, and cube root. So for us to achieve this, we need to set the values to vary between 2 and 1. So if you press more button and more button is already set to 1, what happens is that it sets the more button to 2. And if it's at 2 already and you press the more button again, it sets the more button to 1. So as you continue to press it, it continues to switch between the value of 1 and the value of 2. but this will not display the values on the screen, so we will need to set that in the next set of blocks. But for you to do this, let me just show you. You bring the if else block, you have the if else block, then the operator, you drag this into it, you can see now. Then the variable more button, yes, you set it to 1. You can see now. Then the set, since more button is a number, you use set number, set, then you set it to more button, then set the value of more button to 2. Remember it's 1, now it's set to 2 now. But what if it's 2? We want to set it back to 1, so you still do the same thing. That's else. If it's not 1, then it's 2. So if it's 1, set it back to 2. So more button is set to 1, and that's how we got this block. If you've done that, that's good. We'll move on to the next set of blocks. Like I said, this is where it will really display the value for our keys. So earlier I told you that 1 signifies the normal state, while 2 signifies the more state. So for the normal state, we want it to be at cos, sine, tan, and square root. But for the more state, we want it to be at arc cos, arc sine, arc tan, and cube root. So that's what this does. So I'll bring my if button again, if block, sorry, my if block. So if more button is set to 1, that is, if more button is at the normal state, if more button is set to 1, more button is set to 1, that's at the normal state. I want it to display what? The normal settings. So I'll use my text view, to set it. You can see now. So remember, we've named our cos and tangent button earlier, so it's easier for us to see, to identify them. So I'm duplicating it, since I just need the same kind of block. Yes, I'm controlling 4 blocks: the cosine, the sine, the tan, and the square root. You can see it now. So this block, I'll need to duplicate it so as not to waste time, since it's still almost the same thing for the second function. So if more block is set to 2 this time around, for this one is now set to 2. You can see now. So at the normal state, I told you it should set them to cos. So the cosine will be cos, the sine will be sine. These are the normal state. These are the normal states. Sine is sine, tangent is tan, and square root is the square root sine. You can see it now. But when more button is clicked, the cosine becomes arc cos. So we press arc cos. That's cos raised to power minus 1. Get minus 1 raised to power 1. You press and hold your 1 button. The same for sine. You have sine minus 1. You can see. Same for your tangent. Sine minus 1. Then your cube root, that's you press an odd 3, sorry, press an odd 3, then your square root sign. You can see it now. So I've set, you have the same thing now. So if this is set properly, what happens is that the moment the keys are clicked, the display on the keys are changed accordingly. So we are through with the more buttons. We want to proceed to the clear button. The clear button is expected to clear two things. It's expected to clear the screen display, that is the text view, as well as the saved values in the variable. So that's why you have this set of blocks. Let me explain what each block does. The first block here is what sets the values in the digit accumulator to empty. It sets it empty, and then this next block, it sets the display question, the value already saved there, changes it to empty also. Then this set of 4 blocks, it changes the value of our variable a, b, c, and d. It changes them to 0. Remember, I want them to be at 0 state before now. So the more button also, by default it should be at 1. So when you press the clear button, it sets it back to 1. And also we want to set the text view to 0, such that nothing is being typed. So that's why we have all this block. Let me just show you how to do it. So you can remember, digit accumulator and display questions, they're all string variable. So you will need set string this time around. Set string, you click on it and you select digit accumulator. You do the same when you want to set it to display question. So that's that with that. But A, B, C, D and more button, they are all number variables. So you set number. So set number, then you select A, do the same for B, C, D and more button. That's that with that. Then for us to set the values being displayed on the screen, you come to set text. You have it here. So you can now select what happens on the question screen. You understand? You set the question screen to 0 so that it will display only 0 on the screen. You can see it now. The same thing you do for the answer screen. The answer screen also is to set it to 0. With all this done, you'll discover that your app is running fine. You can now clear what's in the memory and what's shown on the screen. Now finally, before we go, we add a complaint, and that's what we want to solve before we go now. And the complaint is that when the button is clicked twice, it displays 3. For example, 11 will display 111 multiplied by, you can see it reverts back to 11 again. You can see now 11 times 111. So this error won't come. You want to clear it. So this, for us to get this set, we'll go back to the app, this software app, and we'll correct that on our 1 button. So you can see that this is the block that we set before now. So in this blocks, what we'll do is that we have to correct this, take away this display. What was happening initially is that it's setting the display 2 times. Once you click the first key, the second key click is still getting the same value from the accumulator, the digit accumulator. So that's why it's doubling it. But now we are setting it directly to the screen. So the screen takes the display question and the digit accumulator. So with this, that error will be corrected. So you need to set this for all your digits. I've done that for other buttons. You are going to this time. You can see it now. I've done that for all the other buttons. From 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've done it for 0 as well. And I've done it for my decimal point. I've done it for my decimal point. So once you've done this for all your number keys, decimal point as well, I think it will be all set. So with this,